Hi, welcome to Center Stage Music Center Online. My name is Oscar Martinez, and we're going to talk about NYSSMA Level 5, Bach Cello Suite Number 2 in D minor, first movement, Prelude. So in the beginning, it starts off in D minor, so make sure you're playing F naturals and B flats. Also, this piece has a lot of accidental. You should maybe highlight those, right fingerings above it so you know, because sometimes later on I forget as well that there's F sharps and C sharps as well. So make sure you highlight those and look at them in advance. So if you look at it in the beginning, it starts in D minor. So it basically spreads out the chord. D, F natural, A. So make sure it's resonance, everything D, F natural, A, those are very resonant on the viola. So make sure you're listening very carefully for those. Now, in the beginning, there's a lot of interpretation to how to bow things. So for example, I would suggest slurring all your 16th notes, but some editions they say slur first and then separate after. Try and find an edition that works best for you. For me, I try to find a blank slate and I add my own bowings in. Later on, example measure 13, we go into F major. Be careful with the key signature here. We're now adding F sharps later on. F sharp. F sharp. Which is not in the key signature, so make sure you highlight those in. Another thing about this piece that makes it more complicated, especially for NYSSMA Level 5, is the phrasing. There's barely any dynamics written in. So what I would suggest is writing in pianos here, or even better, singing it out loud. Try and add where the fortes are. Where do you start singing louder? Where do you start decrescendoing? So for example, I would like to decrescendo anytime we get into 8th notes. So for example, or another instance that's on the next page. Try and decrescendo into those to give it more of a contrast. Now, in the second page, the favorite part. Try and make sure your fingers are really relaxed in the left hand. Anything that's stiff is going to delay your shift. Or you're going to have one of those things that are very like, what they call, they're almost like stops in your shift. So try and relax the left hand. If you want, take it really slow. 2, shift, shift. Make sure your left hand is nowhere near as tense, okay? Relax, elbow under, because we are going to be shifting back and forth a lot. So for example, I'll just play you from measure 43 to the fermata measure 48. As you can see, there's a lot of shifts happening there. Make sure you highlight where you're shifting and where in what position as well. Because sometimes we think we're going in second, we might be in first, we might be in third, so make sure you highlight those. The ending, it looks very simple. They're dotted half notes, but there's 5 chords to end this whole entire piece. So we gotta make sure that we don't cut any of the notes out. For example, we don't want to just go and just hold the top note. Try and break your chords in half. So for example, measure 59. You have an A on the bottom, G, and a C sharp on top. Try and split the top 2 voices together and the bottom notes by itself. Now the last chord has 4 notes. So what we can do is play the bottom 2, the D and the A, and the top 2 notes together, the F natural and the D. Now, something hard about this is we're not going down, 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 which is probably the easiest thing to do. Instead, we're going down and then up on an up chord. So try and make sure your right elbow is a little higher up so you can catch the bottom string. Okay. And last thing before we end this is make sure to have fun with this. There's no dynamics in this, like I said before. There's different editions. Try and play through them before you buy an edition. Or what is even better is try and print out a blank one, write in what you want, and try and match it with a different edition. Okay, after everything we've gone through, let's put it together. So I'm going to start from the very beginning, and I'm going to interpret it the way I've been practicing it. If you like it, you can copy it, or you can add your own interpretation. So ready? I'm going to start from the very beginning.